Hi. Today's subject is about research and efficacy and so on, the history of bioelectricity. It goes back, way back. There's evidence that they dug up a Chinese emperor's tomb, and what did they find in the tomb besides all kinds of pottery and treasures and so on? They discovered 9 needles, acupuncture needles, over 2,200 years ago. And 5 were silver and 4 were gold. So way back when, they were using metals as a way to stimulate healing effects on the body, on acupuncture points. 100 years ago or so, Luigi Galvani was doing some major research into bioelectricity on frogs and different things, a scientific method. Volta was also using a competitor in the field and working together and against one another. Not very agreeable relationship, but anyway, so it goes back many years. 1999, I was learning Chinese medicine, and I learned a technique called Korean hand therapy. And in that therapy, they use copper and aluminum electrodes attached to the hand. This is what they call a correspondence therapy, and the whole body is on the hand. Every joint on your body corresponds to a joint on your hand. It's like an animal walking along, looking around, having a drink, and so on, and away it goes. So these are the legs, these are the hands, arms, this is the head. Just the other day, 2 days ago, I treated a tooth pain, and all I have to do, if I got a bad tooth pain right here, I just go to the right hand and I find that's my whole head there. There will be a tender spot there, which corresponds to my mouth and my tooth problem. It's tender because I have pain there. And all I have to do is I find that spot, I mark it with a pen and cover it with, I prefer a silver electrode. Silver has the additional benefits of being antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. So simply by putting a silver electrode, I could use aluminum, great for pain. I'm not sure about its antibacterial properties, but so a silver electrode there, within a minute, the pain is reduced or eliminated, and also within a day, no more pain, no more infections. We have silver ions and other positive ions going down that from this point of correspondence to here, goes down my arm, comes up here, and it actually will cover both the upper and lower jaw, so I can treat any tooth problems or root canal pain or any of that kind of infection and the pain. There's another technique that I'm very fond of, and I've treated many hundreds of tooth problems over the years in detox and treatment programs. There's another one. This is another what they call a microsystem called auricular therapy. The whole body's on the ear, and all I have to do, again, there's a point right about there that corresponds to the tooth problem that I have here, and I just palpate, find that point, sore spot there, and apply a silver electrode, and bingo, the pain will be reduced, or if not gone, if I'm very accurate in my placement, and also not only the pain, but the infection can be treated. I combine this microsystem with this microsystem, and sometimes with the Jing Will points. Highly effective for treating any pain. There was a fella quite recently, he died I think in the 80s. He was a Japanese physician researcher by the name of Yoshio Manaka. And he used a very effective method, but essentially the same, using simple electrodes on acupuncture points on the body, and bingo, pain is gone. Not only the pain is gone, but it balances the electrolytes, it balances the pH, it stimulates the mitochondria, and so on. So you have massive, incredible, fast-acting healing generated from the simple stimulation of a microcurrent going from one electrode to another. And you can treat almost anything that way. You just identify where the pain is in the body, or systemically even, by treating all the acupuncture points on the finger, Jing Will points, mind you, on the fingers and the toes, and you can treat the whole body, all the energy pathways, the meridian system. It's brilliant. Meridians or channels are just simply pathways of least resistance, electrical resistance. And there's a you can compare qi somewhat to, I believe that acupuncture needles are simply subcutaneous electrodes. And if you go back in time and start using the proper electrode needles or the proper metals needles, you'll get much more success. But you don't really have to be that invasive. You can just apply electrodes on the acupuncture points, and it works really well, and it works very quickly. Yeah, so that was Yoshio Manaka. In more recent times, in the last several decades, we've got people, pioneers, brilliant individuals like Dr. Robert Becker. He wrote a book called The Bioelectric, and it's an entertaining book. You don't have to be an academic or a physicist or a researcher to understand it. It's readable. And he was largely the inspiration, besides Korean hand therapy, for me exploring and diving deeper into how and why simple application of metals on the body, and sometimes all you need is one metal. Korean hand therapy, I'd get away with treating almost any imaginable pain just with this silver or aluminum even on the hand. So you can do the same with the ear or any microsystem. But anyway, so Dr. Robert Becker was inspirational for, pretty much all the research that's going on today. He did extensive research on healing fractures and ulcers and all kinds of different pain problems and so on. And Bjorn Jorgensen was also another incredible physician, Nobel Prize winner, using electrodes on the body to treat cancer. Now, why are these simple therapies that are so easy? I mean, they're exploring it in universities, but they can't get out of the university. It baffles me why they can't use their knowledge of bioelectricity and put it out into, well, I do know. There's vested interest groups out there that, you need to have very complicated, expensive electrical devices for one, and it's cumbersome, and it definitely works, but it's expensive. You got to come in every day, get yourself, or every couple times a week. It's just not very practical. And bioelectrode therapy is practical and so efficient and simple. And I believe in the simplicity principle. All I need to do, locate the pain. Actually, I can even locate specific pain problems and put an electrode here and put an electrode there, and I will release that pain in no time. You have to understand which electrode to put here and what to put there. It's called polarity. But anyway, so there is, having been inspired by all the great pioneer researchers and so on into developmental bioelectricity, I've developed a technique where all you need is simple copper and silver, gold and silver electrodes. You could use zinc, I suppose, but and anybody can do it. You don't have to have a PhD, piling high and deeper. And two simple electrodes placed properly. And I have, I've written a book. I've got an app with, for $25 you can get an app for $25, pardon me, an app which have all my protocols on it using gold and silver electrodes or copper and silver electrodes, showing you precisely where to put the electrodes for 60 different serious painful ailments, from headaches and tooth pain to back problems to digestive issues to you name it, even opiate withdrawal. And that's my favorite. I've been in the field of addictions for 40 years, and in all aspects, 30 years in detox and outpatient clinics, and the past 12, 13 years in a treatment center, treating pain on a daily basis. And people, let's face it, the opioid crisis is a global epidemic, killing thousands of people daily. And what do? We give them more opiates. We give them a more toxic opiate than they were on to begin with. Methadone is not an easy row to hoe. It's so difficult to come off that. Well, most people can't. It's too painful. And people they're terrified of actually experiencing opioid withdrawal. So they just don't go there. They're satisfied with this toxic side effects that come along with that medication, or the other medications, the constipation, the in and out of withdrawal to some degree, and so on. Whereas all you really need to treat opioid withdrawal is is for opiate withdrawal, you treat all the meridians on the hand and the foot, and you will have a pain-free experience. You'll sleep through the night. You won't have the craving, the anxiety. Check out my website. I have a number of people coming off various drugs, but opiate being my favorite because it's such a high profile. But yeah, you can detoxify efficiently, but not only detoxify painlessly, going through that withdrawal process, but recovery as well. I mean, you can continue to keep these electrodes on and treat individual pain problems, or just the occasional craving and anxiety and depression and so on. It's all available in the form of electrodes, which I presented fairly articulately, I think, in a book that I've written. And it's cheap and easy. Anybody can do it. You can do it. Go to page, look on my table of contents, press the button, go to a migraine or a headache or a stomach problem, and it takes you exactly to an illustration where you put precisely locating or positioning the electrodes for certain conditions. It's that easy, and anybody can do it, but there's no real money in it. I'm just refining the placement and how to secure these electrodes on for long periods of time so you don't have to put them on a daily basis. I've recently discovered the use of a silicone adhesive, and I've used every method. I've used crazy glues, I've used duct tape, I've used all kinds of different tapes and glues and things. Nothing would last more than a day or half a day and stuff, and it would be good for the moment. But with silicone adhesive, and I use Westmore silicone adhesive, and you just put the electrode on, let it to dry, or, even the Japanese Secamera migraine gold and silver pellets, and just dab a little silicone on there, and you're good for 2-3 days. And you can just put another one on every couple of days and another dab of that silicone, and you're good for day and night ongoing treatment to deal with your chronic pain problems. And as long as those electrodes are on, you are getting that microcurrent circulating through that area of pain or through the entire body if you want, or if you need, and balancing the electrolytes, stimulating the cell membrane. That electrical field goes through that meridian and stimulates the cell membrane, which balances the electrolytes, the pH, and stimulates the mitochondria, which actually creates the healing force in your body, not only to deal with opiate withdrawal, but for any pain. ATP production based on stimulation of the mitochondria. It's remarkable. It's amazing. And I do it every day. I get the pleasure of doing it every day and see people respond within minutes instead of medicating till death do us part. Because that's currently the system that we've got right now. It's so close to $2 trillion of investment in addiction problems in America alone, using opiates and pharmaceuticals and that system that is very dysfunctional. I've been in that system for 40 years, and unfortunately I don't see much curiosity or creativity. They're just adding more medications to original medication, which wasn't all that bad to begin with. Or pain problems, toothaches. Well, give them codeine, give them an opiate, give them this and that. And before long, they're a lifer. They're dependent. They're a slave to those meds. But anyway, before I get too passionate about this subject matter, I better let you go and check out Bioelectricity. I think you'll be impressed. It's based on hundreds, in fact, thousands of years of efficacy. Whether researchers or scientists or, the system itself coming from the top down, they're not willing to go there. They're not willing to be creative enough to even come into my clinic and have a look. I've seen 1 or 2 doctors, but again, they fall back to their original teaching. And so bioelectrotherapy does work, and bioelectricity is a reality. That's the nature of reality. That's the nature of the universe. And bioelectricity is the nature of the healing force in our body. Chinese just call it qi, but essentially it's just, it's a version of bioelectricity. But anyway, it's always a pleasure. I'll be on this. Just have a look up here and you'll see more YouTube clips where I go into some detail and explain many other remarkable therapies that I use routinely in my clinic to help people get through that process, detox, withdrawal management. Anyway, thank you very much for taking the time. Bye now.